Okay, so coming at number 5, we have Earn to Die. Earn to Die is a series of games that basically there's four sequels in the series, and they're all pretty much the same. They just offer different vehicles and different basically customization. Now, Earn to Die is a very interesting game because it was made basically in the same vein as a lot of other games of this type, like Potty Racer and Shopping Cart Hero. So it uses that sort of upgrade to keep going sort of aspect, and it's very 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 sort of like well done in the implementation. They use it in this one. In those other games, they sort of there's no real obstacles other than jumps and all these other things. In this game, there's actually zombies that come after you. They're not too hard to take down, but the fact that zombies come after you is quite an interesting take on the whole sort of zombie survival premise, and you're just controlling the car. The game just has you basically upgrading your vehicle, and you can buy different ones through the basically through the runs you do for the rest of the game. The whole idea of the game is you have to basically make it to a certain point to finish level to get to a helicopter, and the fact that you can buy different vehicles really sort of like makes it different. You start off with a VW Beetle, and then you upgrade your way up to a full-blown Peterbilt truck, I think it is. In the later games, it's more varied vehicles, like you get a fully articulated military truck and other vehicles. The control scheme is very basic. You're just using the arrow keys to control the car, and I think it's either the control or something else to control the boost on the jet engine or propeller when you get it. So it's a very short game, but there's an entire series of them, and it's fairly fun. So yeah, worth a check out as well. Okay, so at number 4 we've got Penguin Massacre. Penguin Massacre is basically a tower defense game. You're playing as a penguin on top of a ridge, like a giant ice wall, and you're basically trying to kill these other penguins that are trying to mess your stuff up. So yeah, Penguin Massacre is a very very fun game because I remember actually finding this one in school, and basically when I was in school as a young teenager, basically they had basically blocking software, so you couldn't really get flash games. You would have to sort of like hunt around for them and find different bypasses to get through to games. But I did find some gems when you were able to actually get past this. You were able to find some gems. So this is one that I actually found at school. So yeah, Penguin Massacre is basically revolves around you basically defending your sort of area. You get different guns as you go through the game. You have to pay for them, and you can upgrade them. You can get different attributes for them. You can also get engineers and medics, which basically look after the wall, keep it repaired, and you can basically heal yourself. I don't know how that works, but as you progress through the game progressively gets more harder. They start sending more tanked up enemies after you, so stuff like the armoured penguins, the really quick ones that just come up and do a lot of damage, and you get flying penguins as well. So yeah, it's a very very fun game. I remember spending a lot of time in this game just for the music, for the most part, and seeing these penguins get destroyed. So yeah, go check it out. It's a really really weird game, but a fun one at that at least. So yeah, we'll go on to number 3 now. Okay, so rolling at number 3, we've got Xiao Xiao. Now I mentioned Xiao Xiao in the previous video. Basically, it's an on-rail shooter. There were quite a few on-rail shooter built for the Flash engine, and stuff like Graveyard Shift. You have there's another Stickman game that looks very similar to this, but it's a dude with a ponytail. So yeah, Xiao Xiao is just like House of the Dead, but it's very very basic. You can blast through the game in one sitting. It's very very easy, but the fact that there's an on-rail shooter in the Flash engine just sort of makes it worth its while. The game is basically revolves around you using the mouse and the spacebar to reload. The mouse to shoot is the mouse is basically your light gun, as it were. And yeah, it's a bit like Time Crisis really, because it has quite a few varied enemies. Like you have ones that throw knives at you and ones that have RPGs. So the fact that they're able to get this level of detail in a basically a very very basic game is quite impressive, to be fair. And there are other games in a similar vein. So yeah, Zhao Zhao is a very very fun sort of volatile stick around battle scene. At the end of the game, you get this really sick sort of Matrix fight. So yeah, check it out. It's very short but very fun. Enjoy. Okay, so coming in at number 2, we've got a sort of like pseudo sports game. I don't really play sort of like sport type games on Flash because there's not really a point. There were a couple that were weird, like Gutterball and Sky Golf, but it wasn't really meant for that. This is like Curveball is a take on Pong, which was one of the sort of first video games, from the sort of 70s, that sort of made video games popular, if you could believe that. So this takes it to a 3D aspect. You're basically playing in a tunnel, and there's a player on the opposite side, the AI, and you're basically playing against them. You can do all types of curve shots with the ball, depending on which way you swipe with the mouse as soon as the ball hits you. So you can time it, so you can basically cause backspin, curves, all that sort of stuff. And when it gets into later levels, it really does get kind of complicated because the AI sort of steps up to 11, and when it does that, it makes the game sort of really really difficult. The AI is unbelievably good at this game. So once you get past sort of level 6 and get past that point, I've only ever made it to level 7. So once you get past that point, it's just all out warfare with basically playing Pong. So yeah, it's one of the ones I dumped a lot of time into when I was younger. So yeah, go have a look. Okay, so we're finally at number 1, and number 1 is one I have to give a lot of credit to because it was one of the Flash games I actually found first at school. Because I mentioned in the the Penguin Massacre entry at number 5 that a lot of Flash games were blocked in the school's computer labs. You had to find ways to get around it, and this was one of the ways I found to get around it originally. There was a website called Cool Maths Games. It sounds like a really crappy name, but this game was on there, and once I got past that, this game was the one I dumped a lot of my time into. And yeah, basically revolves around you using explosives to basically launch this little robot character into a portal. And you think it might sound a bit simple, but the fact that the levels in the later game get really really complicated. They add different stuff that you get, like different accelerants like oil, TNT, and all these other things and you can get fuses as well. The thing that made this game interesting, in the second one, I think they had a level editor, so you could create your own levels. And yeah, I spent ages designing my own levels. Just sort of dropped into it and got really interested in the game design. And I think that's one of the things that really want to make me like play more games and start reviewing them. Really, that's what sort of started the whole idea of not YouTube. I mean, sort of like reviewing games. So it's one I have to give a lot of credit to because it was the one that sort of kept me sane for a lot of that, a lot of the horse shit that was school. So yeah, that's my top 10 Flash games. And I am sad to see Flash go, but there are quite a few things that the community is doing to sort of save these games. There's a massive Flash archive project that's basically collecting all the SWF files, and they're trying to make them into they're trying to basically make a launcher for the computer. Now there are ways to play Flash games on the computer. There's let me just check right here, just bear with me. There's a Swift player and SWF file player. They're basically the converters for the computer, and it lets you play the games on the desktop. But it is very flawed. Some of the games just won't launch outright, and some of the games just don't work. So yeah, it's very flawed. And this isn't the first time this has happened. A lot of games just disappearing. As I'm recording this now, it is December 30th. We're one day away from the deadline, and Flash is about to bite the bullet soon. And just as I was doing research for this video, I actually found out that a lot of the games are being purged now. I tried to play one of them recently that I used to play when I was a kid. I can't find it. They've just purged it from the website. So yeah, it's a very sad time for Flash games. Am I sad? Yes, I am. I'm really sad that Flash games are going away. They were a big part of my childhood, and it's really sad to see them go. So, and plus the impact of Flash doesn't just stop at the games. The fact that it was able to make these websites popular made the whole thing, stuff like HTML5 and Unity engine games. That whole thing was sort of like the precursor to these HTML5 and Unity games. So stuff like, we wouldn't have Slenderman if Flash didn't exist. So I'm very, very, very happy that Flash had such a long time in the limelight, and it's lasted this long. I mean, Shockwave, which was one of the technologies previous to this that used to run the games, it was taken out in 2017. So yeah, it's a very sad time. But I am glad that we got to go through these games and give them their sort of limelight and give them a sort of projected sort of death. So yeah, Flash, goodbye. You shall fade off into the distance, and us gamers will never forget. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video, which hopefully should be a lot more happy, because we're actually going to be reviewing a full console game. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Mr. RageGamer20 out.